Hi, my name is Tamara Bryant, and I suffer from OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I am 43 years old, and I have suffered with this my whole life, or as long as I can remember, anyway. Um, and I've been in therapy for it on and off for probably the last 20 years, but have found a therapist that I really do enjoy and respect, and has actually been the first one to be able to help me for over the last 5 years. I've taken lots of medications for OCD, tried different ones. I'm on one right now that might be helping a little bit. I'm not a big believer because nothing's really helped me so far yet, but I'm on a journey to try. So, but the talk therapy with my therapist is actually the one thing that has actually started to help me, after 43 years of, suffering. When I was younger, I didn't really know what it was, and I knew I was different. I knew that, the things that I thought about weren't like my peers and my family. And I was kind of good at covering up from the very beginning, knowing that I was different. And sometimes when you talk about things, they become more scary, at least when you're a kid. So I didn't really talk about them. And, 43 years ago, or I didn't start when I was a newborn. So let's say, 35 years ago or so, I don't know if anybody would have known what to talk about anyway. So, today and for many, many years, I've been very aware of my irrational thoughts and feelings and behaviors. And my doctor likes to say that I'm, one of the most hyper-aware OCD people that she knows. But being aware hasn't really helped me so far. Maybe it has, maybe compared to somebody that isn't super aware or knows how irrational they're being, maybe that is worse. I don't know, because I've always been pretty aware of who I am. That hasn't helped me make better decisions, being aware, but it is something that's a part of, what I deal with. So today, when I talk to people and they find out I have OCD, they say, oh, you must just really like to clean a lot. Or, yeah, I have OCD too. I have this thing that I do, or this thing I always have to do. And not that people have any ill intent, but that's, I suppose, in my mind, living with OCD, when people talk about that, it aggravates me a little bit, because OCD is actually very suffocating and debilitating and paralyzing, and really can inhibit your life in some really terrible ways and prevent you from enjoying people that you love and things that you love, and can really make life very prison-like. It's definitely a prison. I call it, my own private prison, but it's not really my own private prison, because my family suffers. My kids suffer, my husband suffers because of it. And my goal when I first started therapy was to be a better mother, a better wife, and just a better human to myself, because really at the end of the day, those are the things that are most important to me, and those are the things that OCD really attacks. And so those are the things that I, work on. My therapist has been the first one to really kind of dig super deep, and makes me work really hard in therapy at overcoming this thing that I have, that I've always had. And it's slow, it's baby steps, and I started out very glass half empty. You're not going to help me. I don't believe that anybody can help me. I feel like I'm so far gone that I'm never going to be able to be free. But I had promised several people in my life, including some of my other doctors, my regular doctors in my family, that I would at least try. So I went on the journey, started out not a believer at all, but, you know, finding the right therapist, the right psychiatrist, can really make the difference. As far as OCD goes, you know, yes, I do like things clean. I do like things a certain way. I suppose like them a certain way is putting it very, very mildly. Obsessively have to have things a certain way. Otherwise, I can't leave the house and I really can't function very well. But cleaning and having things a certain way really is the tip, very, very tip, at least for me, for my OCD. Tip of the iceberg. You know, people don't understand that you could be a hoarder and have OCD. It's about the obsessive ruminating thoughts and compulsions and behaviors that go along with the thoughts that really create the prison. It doesn't mean you just like things very clean and you run around wiping things down, which I do all day long. And for that reason, I guess the other part of OCD is physical. My body has suffered a great deal at 43 for having this my whole life. My bones really, really hurt. I'm in pain all the time from, you know, having to do things a certain way all the time, never being able to stop. You know, I ache all over all the time, you know, from having to carry a bag with me since day one of school that had everything in it that I possibly could need. You know, my lower back, I have trouble sleeping, walking, sitting, standing, all of the above from, you know, a life of physical abuse to my body because of my behaviors. So that's something that I deal with today. Physical therapy can help, but the behaviors are really what continues and keeps it going and keeps, you know, the physical suffering from easing up. So anyway, I'm jumping all over the place, but I wanted to start this vlog because when I do talk to people about OCD, they're very unaware. They really don't understand that it's out there. And because most people hide it, you know, because maybe they're embarrassed by it or they don't think people will understand. Because a lot of people, including some people in my family, think that mental illness is really just a choice and something that you can, you know, if your will is strong enough and you want it bad enough, you can change it. And while, yes, I do believe in, you know, willpower and all of that, but it's extremely challenging and it's not a choice. This was something that I was born with. I didn't choose this. I've had it since I can even remember being a very, very young child. And certainly at that point, I wouldn't choose something like this. So anyway, my point in doing this is to help other people be aware, to help those who are suffering know that from this very, very big non-believer that there can be light at the end of the tunnel, even if you might never be completely free, but maybe, you know, the shackles can come off, which is my hope for myself and for anybody that suffers, really, you know, on whatever level it is that you suffer. So my point now for myself, my own independent therapeutic challenge is to be documenting things that I go through on a daily basis where, you know, I'm either cleaning to the point where I'm in tears because I can't stop, but I know that if I don't, I can't leave the house, but my body's hurting so much that I can't keep going, or that I'm so terrified of something that I can't, you know, move on. Whatever it is, you know, from thinking you hit somebody in your car when there was nobody around, and driving back out of your way and trying to find a crime scene, and hoping that there isn't one, and then you can convince yourself that everything was okay and you didn't do anything wrong. I know this probably sounds crazy to some people who have never understood or considered that OCD could involve those types of thoughts and behaviors, but they're there and they're real, and they're one of so many others. So I do have my first therapeutic assignment today. It's a very tip of the iceberg, but I have lots of fears. You know, slime is a very big thing now with kids, slime and, you know, all this stuff, you know, very tactile stuff for kids. And I really avoid it with my kids, even though they love it, which is really sad. I avoid it because I don't like the mess, and not just the mess, like, obviously, you know, nobody wants slime all over their furniture, but the mess for me is something that gives me, you know, anxiety, makes my heart rate really fast, and I, you know, put so many things in place to avoid the mess that it no longer becomes fun for my kids. And I have lots of fears about chemicals and them touching things, and, you know, if they do it, they have to do it outside, and they can't come in until I've wiped them off, until I've cleaned outside. They can't go back outside and touch it again. It's a whole thing, and it's just, it's very tip of, you know, my OCD fears and thoughts, and we call them stuck points in the therapy that I'm doing right now. So my first very small therapeutic assignment, because now we've gotten to the point where my therapist wants me to start having alternative behaviors, trying alternative behaviors, which can also be known kind of as exposure, which is something that I never wanted to do. And I started therapy saying, if you're going to put me through exposure, then I'm out. But after 5 years, we're to the point where she wants me to start trying some things. So this is like a baby thing that's kind of an easier thing to tackle than other very, very big things, which are much less tangible and much scarier and, you know, overpowering. So my first teeny tiny therapeutic assignment today is to go and get my kids the messiest, slimiest, dirtiest thing I can get and play with it with them. I'm going to do it at the park and not my house, so I'm kind of cheating a little bit, I guess, avoiding making a mess at home. But I'm still going to do it. And so I will be recording that later. And I really hope that this vlog can be a benefit to people. This is my first vlog, my very first video. So forgive me if it's a little casual and not really how these things go. But I'm hopeful. So anyway, I will hopefully see you later.